look, okay, Russell Wilson's there. That's good. Guy they gave up 2 first-round picks to acquire from the Jets last year isn't present. It was initially reported and presented as a holdout. Pete Carroll later explained that Jamal Adams' absence is excused. We'll talk more about that in a second. For now, let's hear some of what Carroll had to say yesterday about the fact that Jamal Adams is not present at the mandatory minicamp.
With Jamal, is there anything you can tell us about the state of the contract talks with Jamal?
Not really. It's been ongoing and it's been amicable throughout. We recognize that he's a fantastic football player, and we're in the midst of it's a big contract process. But I know he knows he's been treated with a lot of respect, and he's been very respectful towards the club as well. They've been good talks, and just hasn't been able to get settled at this point. But it's coming. We expect him for camp, and everything should be fine.
Yeah, here's why it's coming. Because they did the trade without getting a deal done.
Yeah.
I don't know when this became an acceptable trend in the NFL. Well, I know when it's not acceptable in my view. Don't ask me. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I know this. If I'm going to give up multiple first-round picks for Laramie Tunsil or for Jalen Ramsey or for Jamal Adams, you trying not to curse here. You bet your ass I get that. That's acceptable. You bet your ass I'm getting him signed to a new contract on the way through the door. What the hell are these people thinking? What was Bill O'Brien thinking? What was Les Snead and Sean McVay thinking? What was John Schneider and Pete Carroll thinking? You're going to do this trade and not get him signed? You give him all the power, all the leverage, because you have to sign him now. He's your not your 1 first-round pick like the Cowboys with Amari Cooper, and they were over a barrel with him and paid him $20 million a year. You give up 2 first-round picks for this guy. Of course you're going to give him what he wants. You've given him all the power, and I don't get it, and I hope it doesn't continue just because it's happened 3 times, because it makes no sense to me 1 time.
Well, I know, but I think it's going to continue to happen with these type of players, these caliber players. We're talking about like the cream of the crop. I mean, it's the best players in the game, to where I think, a lot of these teams are, it does seem crazy. I'm with you, but it seems to all work out in the end for both sides, to where they never seem to be like really disappointed. And I think like for more times than not, the teams know what they're getting into and are just willing to like do it and kind of buy their time, figure out their team, figure out, the salary cap and what needs to be done. And okay, now it's finally like the time we got to do it. All right, we got our ducks in a row. Let's try to figure it out now. I mean, you're right. Jamal Adams has tremendous leverage here in this situation because of the trade, because of the defensive scheme they run, like we've talked about. He is Cam Chancellor of that scheme, except he's more talented than Cam Chancellor, and I don't say that lightly because I think Cam Chancellor is the freaking man. One of the most underrated safeties in the history of football for my money. But like Jamal Adams, as you heard myself or Rodney say last year, he's a Hall of Fame caliber talent. No matter what, and last year wasn't his best year. He messed up, and I think he'd be the first one to tell you that, learning the new scheme and all that. I think both of us can sit here with a straight face and go, if we had a draft of the 10 best defensive players in football, Jamal Adams is definitely going in the top 10, I think. I mean, maybe top 5, but definitely top 10, at least in my opinion. And that's why I just think it all gets done, and they know how valuable he is.
Jalen Ramsey got $20 million a year when he finally did his contract. Laramie Tunsil got $22 million a year. Both guys blew the curve and set new high watermarks at their positions. It's easier to do that when you have that leverage. Because think about it. When you're dealing with a guy who is unhappy and wants out, and I don't know that this applied to Tunsil as much as it applied to Ramsey and Adams. It definitely applies to Ramsey and Adams. These guys wanted out of where they were.
Yeah.
That's the time to get them to agree to more favorable contract terms.
That's true.
Not once they've settled in and accepted the fact, hey, you've given up the farm to get me. Now you can't let me leave. You'll look like idiots if you give up 2 first-round picks and then you have to franchise tag me or I eventually walk away. So you get the guy to take the deal you want him to take as a condition of getting the trade done, and you're more likely to get a deal that works for you over the long haul. And Chris, as it relates to the notion that Jamal Adams is excused from minicamp, The Seahawks know they got to tread lightly with his guy.
Right.
He's feisty. He's fiery. They dealt with that with the Jets. It's one of the reasons why they traded him. Great player. We can't handle him.
Right.
We don't know how to handle him. Nothing makes the guy happy. So I think that Carroll doesn't want to be in the same spot the Jets were when you've broken the relationship and the guy just wants out.
Yeah.
And that's the risk you take. When you give up 2 first-round picks to trade for a Jalen Ramsey or a Jamal Adams, guys who made it clear that they were done where they were, you step into the shoes of the team with which those guys decided they were done. And they may be done with you at some point. That's a risk you have to take. You can't ignore that. And I think the Seahawks, the only reason why his absence is excused is he made it clear he's not doing anything until he gets paid, and they understand the last thing we want to do is antagonize Jamal Adams by making him pay us $93,000 by calling it an unexcused absence.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, and you're right. I mean, they roll out the red carpet for guys like this, Jalen Ramsey, Jamal Adams, whatever, DeAndre Hopkins. Once they make the trade, I mean, I think they know what they've gotten themselves into, certainly. But they believe in the talent, and they've more times than not, I think, done their research on the personality a little bit to go, wait, we think we can make this work and do that. But like both those teams, like the Rams and Seahawks, when they made those trades, were not necessarily in like the best salary cap situation. So that's where they got to buy their time too. That's what happens when you have a team that's full of high-end talent. So yeah, they're going to tread lightly. But we know by the way the year ended last year and some of those press conferences and hey, Jamal Adams was playing hurt with a hurt shoulder on that contract. He certainly could have sat out and gone, nah, it hurts. I didn't get a new contract. It still hurts. He could have done that, but he gave us press conferences where I'm in the playoffs. I love this. This is amazing. We're winning. I mean, I don't think he could be happier with the culture he's in. He just got to get paid. And I understand that because we've talked about this. His dad was a star and got hurt and never got paid. So he's scarred by that. And then the last thing is just like, we showed the graphic there. Come on. He's not even the top paid safety on his own team. Quandre Diggs is making more money than him. And there's a lot of people above him that are not in his class that he's going, okay, it's time. I got to get paid. I play this game like a psycho. I throw my body around. I'm better than Justin Simmons and Budda Baker, and that's no disrespect to them because they're awesome, but he's better. And I would think that he gets a significant bump from what Justin Simmons' 15-2-5 deal is. I'm thinking Jamal gets like 17, something like that, and kind of does semi-blow the doors off the market like you're talking about, Mike.
Well, look, he's going to get what he wants because they signed on the dotted line when they traded for him, and they get the whole package. And this guy's fire and intensity spills over beyond the field, and you got to know how to manage him. And Pete Carroll has managed a lot of difficult personalities over the years, and I'm not selling short his ability to do so. He proved yesterday that he knows how to do it by downplaying everything, and they're not going to fine Jamal Adams. They're going to let him not be there. At one point, Carroll said, well, he was injured anyway. It's not like he could do anything, but he can still be there. He can still be there with his teammates, but he's not there because I think he's made it clear he ain't showing up for anything until he gets that $17 million or more per year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.